There is a lot of momentum around women's cycling. More and more people are recognizing that it's fun to watch. It's fast, it's fierce, and it's extremely dynamic. The women racing the 2024 Tour de France Femmes avec Zwift are immensely talented athletes. These are the best of the best, and the caliber that they are racing at is incredible. At the Tour de France Femmes avec Zwift, you have 22 teams, each with 7 athletes. That is 154 women racing. It's incredible. But people don't really know that much about the sport. And people should, because this year's race was monumental. With so many pivotal moments, it's demonstrating that the Tour de France Femmes avec Zwift is here to stay.
Good morning!
What is the Tour de France Femmes? The Tour de France Femmes avec Zwift is an 8-day stage race that takes place in August. It's the most iconic race in cycling history. This year, the course sent riders from the first ever foreign Grand Depart in Rotterdam, Netherlands, to Liège in Belgium on stage 4, before finally crossing into France to finish on the infamous Alpe d'Huez on stage 8. Each edition of the Tour de France Femmes avec Zwift is unique, with different routes covering different terrain and going to different cities. And each stage favors a different type of athlete. You have time trials, which are what they sound like. One rider against the clock. You have flat stages, which favor the sprinters, like Lidl-Trek's Elisa Balsamo. You have hilly stages, which can be really chaotic and tactical to watch. And you have mountain stages, which this year were the last 2 stages of the race. The mountain stages really demonstrate how strong the athletes are. It's usually the general classification contenders that contest those stages. The mountains they climb are massive. For example, stage 8 finished on the top of the Alpe d'Huez, and it's hard to even imagine how much power they are putting out to try to be the first to the top. Winning the Tour de France Femmes avec Zwift is a lot more complicated than just winning each stage. It's almost like there are 8 separate races, each with their own unique battles going on within the tour. The ultimate prize is winning the general classification category, which is the fastest rider based on cumulative time for all 8 stages, signified by the yellow jersey. In addition to general classification, you have the sprint classification, the points leader for intermediate sprints and stage sprints, signified by the green jersey. You have the climber classification, the fastest up each designated climb, signified by the polka dot jersey. And finally, you have the best young rider classification, for the fastest rider by cumulative time under the age of 23, signified by the white jersey. For the minor classifications, there's the best overall team and the most combative rider on each stage. There is a lot going on within the race, and a lot to be cheering for. Women have a long history within the Tour de France. The first Tour de France took place in 1903. In 1924, Alfonsina Strada entered the race in the men's category and competed the first few stages before race officials decided to disqualify her. In 1984, the Tour de France Féminin was started, but that lasted only 5 years. It took until 2022 for there to be a true, standalone Tour de France Femmes. This year marks the 3rd edition of the Tour de France Femmes avec Zwift. The energy and excitement around the race just keeps getting better and better. Looking at the teams Lidl-Trek, EF Oatly Cannondale, Human Powered Health, you can just really see that the momentum that's around women's cycling is elevating their performances. The first team we are following is Human Powered Health. I would call this team the race underdogs. They race with heart and passion, but they don't have the race favorites like SD Works or Visma Lease a Bike. They have a lot to prove with being here, and they are going to be pushed to a new level of what they can achieve. Next, we have Lidl Trek, an American-owned team built with European athletes that is a serious threat. You have athletes like Lucinda Brand, who grew up in Rotterdam, which is where stage 1 and 3 begin. Lucinda is a tenacious rider and strong GC contender. You also have Lizzie Deignan, who is a super domestique. They are a tactical team, reading the race, knowing where they need to be to make a decisive move. And finally, we are following EF Oatly Cannondale. EF is such a charismatic team. You have energetic athletes like Allison Jackson, having solo dance parties, eating snacks, and just really enjoying racing. I think this is a team that consistently surpasses everyone's expectations. They are flashy but cunning, and they always seem to be in the right place at the right time. Now that we know our teams, let's check in with human-powered health.
We still have 24 minutes, so if in 24 minutes we are not arrived, I stop on the road and I wait for the car.
Well, the car's not coming because it's a bike path.
I don't mind. I call the car. So I'm Audrey Cordon-Ragot. I'm a pro cyclist for human-powered health.
Why is that blur?
First morning in the hotel of the start of the tour in Rotterdam. We got the new jerseys. Look at this. I think it looks a bit like peacock.
Audrey is one of our most experienced riders. She is also a bit of a role model for younger cyclists with her determination and her dedication. And next to that, she's always been an advocate for women's cycling.
The Tour has been the race like every cyclist always wanted to be at the start. I was watching the Tour like dreaming of one day wearing the yellow jersey, but in my mind was never possible to do it. People I could cross in my childhood would ask me, so you're a cyclist, are you doing Tour de France? When it came back, I was happy I could say yes. It helped like showing the world like what's women cycling, and they found out that it's more exciting, it's shorter. And I think in general we show more emotions. That's exactly what people want to see.
Looks like your legs are going.
This team has a special place in my heart. Here I found a family. Everyone is really supporting each other. You talk a lot with your mechanics, you talk a lot with your swannies, with everyone involved.
It's incredible to think that less than 2 years before the 2024 Tour de France Femmes avec Zwift, Audrey suffered a stroke that almost ended her cycling career. In the span of 12 months, she had signed to 3 different teams while trying to gradually recover from her stroke. But luckily, human-powered health saved the day, offering a 2-year contract with Audrey so that she could prove she still had it in her to be on the world stage. The fact that she came back from that and was able to prioritize her health and well-being while still being able to race on the world tour is such a powerful story.
I can never thank them enough for what they did for me, and I try all my best at every race to thank them. And yeah, they are, I don't know how you say that in English, but my savers or something like this, yeah.
Just before stage 8, Audrey announced her retirement from World Tour cycling. A 17-year career highlighted by 3 Olympics, including 2024's edition, 9 French titles, and 21 victories. As stated before, Audrey has done so much to advocate for women's cycling, rider safety, better wages, and stroke awareness. Moving forward, she hopes to advance women's cycling even more through leadership roles and professional women's cycling teams. Allez, Audrey.
I'm Ruth Edwards, and I'm a professional cyclist for Human Powered Health.
We can talk about Ruth 2.0. After a very nice and strong career, she decided to take a break from road cycling 2 years ago, and she is now making a pretty successful comeback.
Don't know how to use this camera yet. I don't know, racing bikes is a fun job. I've been racing bikes my whole life. I think what brings me here to the Tour is I took 2 years away from the sport. In 2021, I was completely burnt out and I didn't want to race ever again. It's so hard, it's so brutal. But I took 2 years away, and women's cycling has grown a lot in the last couple of years. And so for me to come and be able to race something that I can relate to other people is just really cool.
I think Ruth is a very versatile rider. She can switch very easily between taking on a leader role, but also supporting her teammates in the goals that they have.
I'm really loving being on Human Powered Health this year. They've just been so supportive of me, and they really have this attitude of let's see how good we can make each person, and we want to teach the young ones and support the older ones. We're a smaller team, but I would also say that we've been challenging that a lot this year. We've had some really good results. My career has been so long, and so picking a biggest moment is always so difficult for me. I think stopping the sport and then coming back has to be one of those biggest moments, because when I stopped, I was so sure that that's what I needed to do, and I was so done with the sport. But then when I left it and now I've come back with this confidence to be able to say how much I love it. It's what I do with my friends, it's what I do when I'm sad. It's just such a huge part of me. Now I just couldn't imagine not doing it. When I get to ride my bike, it makes me happy.
After a long, brutal tour, many of the human-powered health riders did not make it to Stage 8. Ruth led much of Stage 7 before cracking on the final climb. Exhausted, she ended her race on Stage 8 as the peloton entered the final 2 massive climbs. Throughout the race, there are significant moments that stand out, and it's so important to be able to capture it in a way that doesn't feel like it's just a documentation of the event, but to really elevate the moment into something more, and therefore elevate the sport. As a culmination of all the effort we were putting in, all the athletes, all the teams, all the media, all the sponsors, all the hard work to create the Tour de France Femmes avec Zwift, and have it stick this time. To have this race solidified as the most important stage race on the women's calendar. I can't even think of a world in which this race and the progress that has been happening in women's sport and women's cycling wouldn't be possible. But I have to believe that there's no going back from this, because there is just no other way to feel about all of this momentum and not embrace every moment of it. The Tour de France Femmes avec Zwift is here to stay.